catch up on what we were talking about. Like, we started to bring up about technology being lazy, because it started with the whole lazy thing, and then Messiah made a comment about, you know, horses and cars and stuff. So I don't know if you want to retouch on that a little bit, and go back on to what you were thinking.
Well, the point I was trying to make is because when I don't like the fact that people use, I hear it a lot, right? Especially from my generation, and then the people older than me too, the generation before me. They always say, "Oh, this technology just makes you lazy," and I'm like, that's bullshit. I don't think it does. It's designed to make life easier. A person chooses to be lazy. That's not the technology's fault, right? It's supposed to, so you can do more time. You can have more time to do your own thing that you want to focus on, than do the other stuff, right? That's the way I look at it. Technology is to enhance life, enhance your life, right? For better. And the example I always use is, you how did you get here, right? You got here in a car. That's a technology. Does that mean you're lazy? No, it's just, it's just a piece of technology you use. Does it make you lazy? No. And so I just don't like that.
So there's a line so you got to be careful when you're saying that, because what it is there's two types of technology, right? There's technology that you're talking about that is designed to make our life easier and better, right?
Yes.
A car, I agree, right? That is designed to make your life easier and better. You can get places faster, you can travel, you can cover distances, stuff like that. But then there's the other technology that is not like video games. What purpose to make your life better does a video game have?
Well,
it helps you. It helps you focus. It helps you. Sorry, go ahead, Nate. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. I can kind of add on to what you said, Messiah, but a video game is to have fun, so to speak. Yeah, you can quote unquote go professional, but that's a different topic.
Yeah, we're not. Yeah,
like for me, like I play video games because I don't want to deal with work. I don't want to deal with school. I just want to get away. So I love racing games, and I can't race on the street. I mean, I already got a speeding ticket, so I can't do that. But in the video game, I can.
Yeah. So what I'm trying to say, though, is that's where you have to be careful about that line, right? There's technology that, you're right, is made to enhance your life, and there's technology that's made for entertainment. Technology made for entertainment is making people lazy, because rather than a child going outside to play, they're sitting on their ass playing a video game. And I'm not saying video games are bad.
That's not technology's fault. That's the parents' fault.
How is it the parents' fault?
Because if you regulate the time the child spends playing video game, then you take care of that. Now, if you allow him, if a parent uses that technology as a babysitter, or let me sit him down so I don't deal with him that much, that's the parent's fault. Because if you say, all right, you're only going to play an hour, and then you spend go play outside for an hour. Once you play outside, literally play outside for an hour, then you can come back and play 30 minutes in the game or an hour.
Let me ask you this.
Hold on, but I can actually counter both of you.
Okay.
Because I'm seeing both of your points, but then we're not getting to the question. And I was trying to understand how Scheckman wanted to word it. And it's, in general, we are relying on technology. Yes. We're relying on phones.
Yeah. So real quick, and you can go.
I got this.
No, wait. I want to get there to that point, but we were I was trying to finish. I just want to finish the conversation about laziness from last week, and that's why that's that. Okay. But I do want to get into the actual relying on technology part. Okay. I was just trying to make the argument about technology can make you lazy, because if I'm the only kid outside playing because everybody else is on their video games, why am I going to be outside playing? Right? When I grew up, I had no choice. Nobody did. We were all outside because there was no other option, right?
There was Nintendo, but there was Atari.
But listen, like people are even socially lazy because of technology, right? Because they're on their phones. Like literally parents have to have, like you say, yes, it's parenting, but we are so people are so lazy with their phones that instead of sitting down and having a conversation at dinner, they have to literally collect the phone so people aren't on their phones. Like, how many times do you walk into a restaurant and see a table of people not talking? I see
it all the time.
Right? Yeah. And that's the lazy part. So, and that's fine. Nate, keep going. I just wanted you to understand, like, I just wanted to get that out of the way. So when we go into it, there is a difference, I agree, between technology, like Natasha said. There are great things with technology and bad things with technology, right? Mm-hmm. Pros and cons. Yes. Go ahead, Nate.
Yes.
Yeah. So, I mean, with technology, we are relying. So back to the phone case, Now we used to rely on computers to do the heavy stuff. Now it's like, I don't want to carry this computer. I want everything done on my phone. Case in point, I'm recording. Well, I'm not recording, but I'm streaming through the podcast on this phone because I don't want to use my computer. It's inconvenient. Then when we have to go to work, okay, if there's no internet, we can't do anything. Like, especially where I work, the offices have to go to. If they make a complaint, so to speak, about the internet down, I have to stop whatever I'm doing and go replace that router and make sure that internet's running. Let's say you want to go ahead and exercise, for health reasons. Okay, before it's like, now I got to track. I got to track my heart rate and make sure my steps are in, my calories are burned. We want to track everything, which in point it does help, but sometimes you just want to run. Like when I had an Apple Watch, it's like, okay, I'm gonna run today. Like, I don't care. Now with cars, okay, now we're expecting the cars to have all these sensors, automatic stopping, doing everything for us, even letting us know when we have to do maintenance. Before, we didn't need all that. Before, we'd be like, okay, it's every 3,000 miles for an oil change, so on and so forth. But now it's, if there's no internet, we just assume everything's dying, everything's chaotic, and we can't do anything. When really, technology is supposed to help enhance our lives, but it's not supposed to control it, so to speak.
Yeah, and speaking of that, right? Gaston can attest to this. We all know Gaston.
If you're a fan of the show and you're a loyal viewer, you know Gaston.
Yeah. So we were driving. I picked him up. We were driving to work. I went to buy some stuff at work. Technology stuff, right? About I was driving back, dropping off in his house, and my car has lane detection, right? For some reason, I'm driving, and then my car just turns to get. I guess I was in between lanes. Right, I guess I'm trying to figure out without hitting the mic where to go with my hands. Yeah. So I try to I guess I was in between lanes, and my car goes from the left lane to the right lane like that, and I have no power of controlling it. It's like something took over the car, and Gaston's like, "What the fuck?" And I'm like, "What the fuck just happened?" He's like, "I don't know. I thought you were going crazy." And I'm like, holy shit, my lane detection. Something happened with my lane detection, threw my car off to the right lane. And I'm like, luckily the road was empty. Nobody was next to us. Otherwise, I probably would have hit that car. So that's, since you mentioned the lane detection and all that shit, that's even that for me, that was a scary moment. So I know how to deactivate it. So I have to just hit the signal.
Let's try to reel this in a little bit, because I think we're getting into a lot of different areas of the
different
same topic,
time.
Right? And so let's try to reel it in a little bit. So that way we can try to focus it a little bit more on what we're talking about, right? So I think the first thing we all agree then there's two forms of technology, and this is where we have to ask ourselves. There's the technology that makes lives better. Are we too reliant on that? And there's technology that is literally makes your life worse. And are we too reliant on that? Right. So when you
say worse, what do you mean by worse?
That's what I'm going to get to then. It's back to what I started to bring up in the last episode. Use the movie WALL-E, right? It's the WALL-E epidemic, right? And those of you who haven't seen WALL-E, I'll give you, man, we lost all our viewers. They did not like what we were saying. Sorry. I just like to look at it sometimes and see.
It just hit now.
So let's talk about like the WALL-E movie, right? WALL-E is a movie about how the human race, it had to do with technology, and we polluted the earth and things like that. So we ended up having to leave the earth, and we built these ships and we flew out into space and stuff, which, I know it's not 100% what it is, right? But we relied so much on technology that we stopped doing things for ourselves and became very lazy, obese people, right? And so, yes, the earth had other issues because of pollution and stuff like that, which is a whole nother topic for a whole nother day. Don't get me wrong. But, people started to not do anything for themselves, right? Because everything for pleasure or for other things was so reliant on technology that we became a race that didn't know how to function without it. You know what I mean? And so that's where we talk about that's what I mean by leisure stuff, right? When we talk about video games and VR and all this other shit that disconnects us from reality and puts us into and that reliance that in order to entertain yourself if there is no technology, how are people entertaining themselves even, right? If there's a power outage, if the internet goes down, right? These kids don't know what to do and how to have fun and entertain themselves because it's all reliant on technology, right? Like, have you seen a young kid, when the power goes out, they lose their fucking minds, right?
Yeah.
Like, listen, man, you go into a home in today's age, like the kids they're either on their iPads, their phones, their video game consoles. I mean, yeah, I'm not saying they're stop playing sports and stuff.
Yeah, they're on the phone with an extra battery pack.
Yeah, like, you know, you see the kids walking through the stores and they're like, and going places and they're sucked into it, right?
Bro, they walk in the streets like this with their heads down,
yeah,
almost getting hit by cars.
Remember what it was like to go? I mean, you guys might not. Messiah remembers. You probably won't, Nate. But like, remember family vacations where you got to go on a car trip? And like you had to figure out ways to occupy yourselves. Now it's just like throw a tablet in their hands. Oh, my car has built-in fucking Wi-Fi, so that way I can keep the kids shut up the entire drive. Like you lose out on those, like, you know, the stupid games, like the license plate games.
Yeah.
And things.
Or what is it? What I see, something like that.
I Spy.
Or like bumper, license plates and all that.
Punch Buggy. Yeah, remember beating the shit out of people.
Punch Buggy.
Yeah, Punch Buggy.
Yo, I hit my friend so hard.
Right? Like that's what I'm saying. Like,
hit that.
And so that's where that's where I say there's two sides of technology, and are we too reliant? So that's so which side do you guys want to start with?
Well, Nate brought up Phoenix brought up a great point about even companies and other places relying on technology because they can't function without technology. Like if the whole infrastructure of a lot of companies is built on technology, internet, and all that shit. So
not only that, but there's also that conversation: is technology putting people out of work? Right? Yeah. These car companies and manufacturers, they become more automated.
You see the self-drive. I mean, the self-checkouts. McDonald's has it, which I refuse to use. I go straight to the person and be like, yeah, I want to order this. But sooner or later, I'm going to be like, okay, I want this, and that, and just pay.
Yeah. I use the self-checkout. I mean, I use it because it's convenient. Like sometimes I don't want to talk to somebody.
Yeah.
I already know what I want. I want, number one, no pickles. Dr. Pepper, no ice, 2 chocolate chip cookies. We out. Like that's what I want. Now, sometimes if I don't know.
I will say, so when we cut, like there, once again, like some technology is handy, right? Like for instance, I like to order my food on the app before I get there. If I'm going to do fast food, the reason for that is how many experiences have we had where they fuck up your order, right? Because the person doesn't put the button in right. So like, it's a lot easier for me to fucking flip out on you if I know I pushed those buttons right and you got it and you just can't read. Then you misheard me from the well, do you guys remember Dane Cook? You guys remember Dane Cook?
Yeah.
Look at the Burger King over the Whopper, man. Take your order. Like that whole skit he did. Where do I my favorite line in that whole skit is, where do I go? You take the one fucking road to me. What do you mean, where do you go? You go down the block, make a left, go around the bend, come back down, circle the wagon a little bit. Like, oh my goodness. He was hilarious. Back in the day, he was hilarious. Bro. Oh my goodness. Yeah. But yeah, so it's like there's some technology I get, but you know, what I worry about is we rely on more and more, and not only the Wall-E scenario, but what I'm worried about is the Matrix scenario, right? We become we create these artificial intelligence, right? So we don't even have to like program things. They can program themselves because that's how lazy we are as humans. We don't even want to program the computer. AI. Yeah, we want the computer to program itself, right? Because that's just too much work. And then all of a sudden they start taking over, right? And that is a real thing.
Skynet.
If you give somebody, if you want to give this device the ability to think for itself, why would you not start to think that it's going to think about a different way of doing it? And then the thing about Matrix I love is that we were so reliant on technology, but it was a symbiotic reliance, right? Because we created an environment in the Matrix that the AI and the machines became reliant on us, right? Yep. Which is crazy to think about.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
I mean, what do you guys think? Where do you think that there, Phoenix, I'll ask you to start. Do you think there's a situation that we need to draw? Like, where do you think the line needs to be drawn, right, with technology? Do you think there needs to be one? Like, are you okay with automated cars? And like Messiah said, where a car, like you're